AJ.
What's up, man?
AJ. Mary Fuck Kill.
Hey.
Sweet Tooth, Jigsaw, Freddy Krueger.
Oh man, one of these again.
I never prepare you for this.
Jigsaw. That's a weird one, man. I don't think either to any of them.
See, you're ruining
I mean,
the game.
yeah. No, I wouldn't. No,
Dude,
they're all special to me,
dude,
and I love them equally.
you've gotta marry Sweet Tooth because he's big, he looks cuddly, big.
I
big
basically
bear.
did marry Sweet Tooth as a child. Twisted Metal was my childhood, and was the reason I originally bought a PlayStation. But the funny thing is, when I finally saved up enough to get a PlayStation, I didn't have enough. And then all I could afford was Jet Moto, also made by Single Track, by the way. And I have met Dylan Job. He's a swell fella.
This is going way off the rails.
But yeah, man, Twisted Metal's amazing. And I'd also kill for a Saw game and a Freddy Krueger game in VR.
All right.
Right?
Yep. Oh, Nick Milo says marry Sweet Tooth because of the ice cream.
I don't like ice cream that much, but you know.
Oh my God, you're such. Can we please just start the show?
Let's do this.
This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on YouTube every 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if I said that already. Maybe I said that, but it's live. And if you guys are here with us right now, you're watching it live. And if you're watching us later, then that's not live. But thank you so much for being here. Hey, look, the Witching Tower trailer's playing. Dude, I think I confused so many people by publishing a review for a 2019 game. Just
a good one though.
Yeah.
And I see you bumped it up from a 7, which you said on Friday or on Monday. Took you 2 days to gain 10 points for that game. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I could go either way with that because I feel like it's really bad for combat. But if you just take the puzzles and you say this is a great puzzle game that also has combat, then it's easily an 8. But if you say this is an action adventure or puzzle action adventure, and then you start detracting points because of the combat, I struggled with that big time. But I said, you know what? I look at this as a puzzle game with bonus combat, and so I could see it going either way, though. 7,
Great
8,
game.
Either way. My name's Brian Paul Knishan right here, PSVR without parole, and this guy over here, my hetero life mate, AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Gatos, aka Water Tigers? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. And you better get ready because we're going to hump you full of all the PSVR news you can handle till you say the safe word.
What's the
which
safe
is
word?
what, Brian?
Poodle.
Poodle? Not your real life safe word. You're supposed to make one. I'm just kidding.
That
Is that your real one?
That was my real life one.
Only because
of the Chuck Palahniuk book, Choke. But it was kind of a running joke, and then it actually became our real safe word.
The safe word is Gorn.
Gorn's not out. Oh, that makes sense. AJ, we have so much stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about a little Twisted Metal possibly coming to PlayStation VR. We're going to talk about Wanderer. We're going to talk about Zenith. We're going to talk about Final Space. But first, dude, we need to talk about RC Airplane Challenge.
Yeah, you included this on the run of show, and I was like, what's going on? Because I have no idea. And I was like, is it something significant? And why, yes, it was. There's going to be a major update that's incoming. They've showcased some of their post-launch content with new RC planes, new maps, new multiplayer modes. But the thing that really, really got my attention, Brian, the addition of cockpits. And it looks good from what I see right there.
Yeah, this is one of these things. It was one of these things where RC Airplane Challenge was never meant to be a first-person game. It was always very much meant to be a third-person. You hold the remote control and you fly RC airplanes. And some, even with the chase cam, it was still supposed to be RC airplanes. So I totally get the point here, where like the reason there wasn't an official first-person view with actual cockpits, because these are RC airplanes. These are not meant to be actual real-life airplanes. And so it kind of made me feel bad for saying in my review that Strange Games sort of went the wrong way with this, because it's not the game they were making. The game I wanted them to make wasn't the game they made. And so I almost feel like it's unfair from a reviewer standpoint to be like, well, this isn't...
You didn't give me what I want versus judging what it's supposed to be.
Right, exactly. So, but just like Strange Games is so good at, listening to community, it always comes first. And they did some experimentation. They found that cockpits weren't all that difficult to add, and now they're going to do it, which is fantastic. Because if you guys have played the multiplayer mode, you know how much fun this shit is in first person, with the camera locked to the plane and everything spinning around, being crazy. Dude, I want to get in there in cockpits and 32 person multiplayer. It's going to be so much fun.
So it's a perfect theme for this show, because we are going to be talking about a vehicular combat game. And I remember when we were playing the multiplayer, you told me that there was something about the multiplayer that was grabbing you in this, and it was that it reminded you of the good old days where they were good multiplayer vehicular combat games.
Oh yeah.
And I have to maybe not go overboard with that statement, but I do agree to some extent that it is a fun little vehicular combat, and it's flying around and in VR. So anything to add to the immersion with this game? I know it's weird because it's supposed to be, like you said, an RC airplane challenge game, or RC airplanes, and we've kind of twisted Reggie's arm over and over, and he's gradually just making it. He's just like, screw it, I'll just make it. he's just giving it what we want, right?
Yep.
So, but I think it's really cool. I think that's a really, really enticing update, and I like with him adding multiplayer modes and new maps and stuff. I hope this game gets some traction.
Yeah, the new multiplayer mode is another big thing too, because free for all is great. It's just right now free for all is such a great place to just jump in with your friends and use voice chat and shoot the shit and hang out and just shoot each other down. And like I don't even care about who wins and who loses. It's not keep score. Fuck it, doesn't matter. I don't whatever. Right, but actually having team deathmatch and actually having base attack modes and I think that's going to be really cool. So guys, go out there and support Reggie. The game's $15. He's going to be adding this shit throughout the course of the year, and we'll, as soon as there's a date on any of this, we'll let you know what it is.
Yep. So moving on, man, we got a lot of news to talk about today. Mm-hmm. Resolution Games, the developers behind several VR games, yet only one made it to us, has reportedly expressed a lot of interest in bringing over some of their bigger titles that they've done over the last few years to PlayStation VR 2. And this is something we're going to be following quite a bit because we expect a lot of developers to start bringing their games over to PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah, so this is Resolution Games. You already said that, right?
Yes.
And if you guys don't know, Resolution Games, they've got Demio and they've got Blaston, and they've got the games that they've announced. Some of them they actually made it sound like we're coming to PlayStation VR and just never made its way over here. We can sort of understand that when you sort of look at the sales of some of the PlayStation VR 1 titles that have come out recently. Things are not selling all that well, and so if you're a small team, you don't want to spend more money than you're going to make. And so Demio, however, is a game that's been received really, really well over on Oculus. And when we finally get it on PlayStation VR 2, I think a lot of people are going to be really, really happy.
Yeah, Demio is the one. There's actually two of them that I've really got my eye on that look like games that I would really love. One of those is Demio, which I've heard nothing but fantastic things about. That it's like a tabletop kind of RPG multiplayer game that looks really, really cool. But they also have one that's slated to release in 2022 called Ultimex. and it's described as a kind of a Rocket League in mechs kind of thing. Kind of sounds like Rigs is what they're going for. But I'm pretty sure I saw like a little bit of gameplay footage or something. I may be confusing with something else, but it looked pretty cool as well. I love mechs, and I think mechs in VR is something we need to see more of immediately. And so, this is pretty exciting. And right now, since we know Demio is supposed to be really good, that is the most anticipated of their releases. And this information, by the way, comes from Jamie Feltham over at Upload VR. Who wrote the article? They broke the news when just giving a chat with them. And the discussion came from them talking to CEO and founder Tommy Palm.
Yeah, we got a lot of love for Demio in the chat. I saw Justin Credible say that it was one of his games of 2021, top games of 2021. Dude, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this, right? People who don't even have PSVR 2 dev kits are going to be saying, "Oh, we totally are going to focus on PlayStation VR 2. We totally want to make sure we get it." And I think a lot of that will be initially, here's our Quest 2 port, and then things will start being developed with PlayStation VR 2 in mind. It'll be interesting to see how willing Sony is to let that kind of stuff happen, though, because the last thing you want is when you're trying to support your new next-gen headset, right? You obviously want as many games as possible, as many quality games, but you also don't want them looking, your library of games looking like, the competition, especially when your leg up on them is amazing technology and like the more powerful hardware. You don't want your games looking like Quest 2 games. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those Sony allows through at launch. And before the floodgates just open and everything is allowed. Yeah,
that is definitely a message to all developers out there is, put in a little bit of work and get some updates to it. Take advantage of the PS5 hardware instead of the mobile chipset. Like you have the power, so hopefully you bring it and add some additional polish and specs to the game. I don't know if this game is also on PC or if it's it says Demio is also on PC, so maybe they have a better looking PC version already done.
This is one of those things that I think is one of the reasons I think Phasmophobia will be on PlayStation VR 2 pretty early on, because that game is about to undergo a huge graphical update, and so I mean Phasmophobia is already crazy popular, and I was like, why?
It was for a while, yeah. I mean, it probably still is, but
yeah, and so
it was around October.
And I've been saying forever. I was like, yeah. I mean, like if Sony threw them some money and said, hey, make your game look like almost photorealistic, right, and take your time and like redo all your textures and bump the resolution to the max, and now suddenly they're saying, it's got a big graphics overhaul coming just in time for PlayStation VR 2. Coincidence? I think not, my friend. I think not. Anyway.
All right. So this month, guys, is going to be exciting. Usually January is like a really big, just empty lull in releases. And luckily we've gotten some great news. And we know that Wanderer has been has had a release date for a while now of January 27th. Well, the Wanderer devs have now given us an official price announcement, and it is coming out at $39.99.
What the fuck? What the goddamn hell?
On top of this, there were some people that were asking about, they were asking on Twitter, and they were like, how long are you able to say how long the game is? And the Wanderer devs responded and said roughly 8 hours is what they expect for this. Brian, what do you think of the $39.99 price tag on this?
It's tough, man, because I'm still here. We are just a couple weeks away from. It's almost here. It's mere minutes away. The launch of Wanderer is almost here, and I'm still saying the same thing I've been saying for the last 6 months, and that's we don't know enough about Wanderer, right? We've seen clips like this one that's playing down below, where it actually shows some moment-to-moment gameplay where you can see the full locomotion and you see how you interact with your watch and you see these different things going on, but I don't know what that means in the context of like how I'm going to feel about the overall game and just how deep all the mechanics are. I have so many questions about this game. The only thing I've really heard is that even on PlayStation VR, it's absolutely beautiful. And
Yep.
that's kind of all I know. So now I know it's a beautiful 8-hour game. And we've heard from devs who have exaggerated the length of games before. So dude, 40 bucks? I I don't even I don't even know what to say about that yet. Until I actually get into that world and start playing. I kind of like don't even have an opinion on the price or the length.
Yeah, it's hard to judge without having played it yet, of course. I do think that that's maybe not the most competitive price, but at the same time, I also feel like maybe that price will make up for the lack of active player base on PSVR right now. Can maybe help them recuperate some of that cost. But the things we do know about this game, man, I mean, we gotta wait to play it, but the first trailer they ever showed for this, I mean, it really set the tone immediately. It looked stunning. It had this really nice narration going on, really good voice acting, really like intense, just almost like Last of Us vibes with the narrative. And then it's got this crazy time travel story, and there's all this stuff you can interact with. So if this game, let's say hypothetically, this game is 8 hours long, has a great story, has tons of immersive interactions and stuff, and is super gorgeous, then even at that, would you think that the $40 price tag is worth it?
Sure. I mean, the fact is I've played, when I look at games that I've paid $20 for, we look at games like I just reviewed Witching Tower, and dude, there's so many different games that you could point to that with roughly the same, 2-3 hour length, that maybe not a ton of replayability and whatever. And so you say, okay, well, twice as much money for twice as much gameplay. Yeah, I'm a single player guy at heart. Like I don't need multiplayer to sort of extend the length of something, and I don't mind paying a little bit more for something that's super high quality and that's really, really enjoyable from beginning to end. That doesn't feel like there's a lot of padding. But yeah, so yeah, I could be totally comfortable with this price as long as it's really good.
Yeah. Time to play with Gamecat says, I hope it's got replayability. That's kind of a problem when it comes to puzzle games, is that most puzzle games don't really have the best replay value. The redeeming factor is usually that there's like a platinum trophy. And so if you're like a platinum hunter or you just love the game that much, sometimes a platinum trophy can help add value to the game. I think every developer needs to put a platinum trophy in their game, regardless of the game. Just do it. It's a guarantee to sell a couple more copies at least when you have a platinum trophy, because there's people that just straight up do it for that alone.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, we know that our moderator Nick Mulo out there, he spent 10 hours playing Fract, getting that platinum. So suddenly that the little higher price point of Fract was totally worth it to him, because he got that in the replayability. He got that trying to conquer the hardest mode with permadeath. So I really do think that platinum trophies do add some artificial gameplay length. You get many reasons to go back. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But I have a lot of hope for this game, because this is one of our last big exclusives, and the team seems like they know what they're doing, and the game. I said this trailer shows off great full locomotion, and all I'm seeing in the trailer down below is dunk, 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 dunk.
I keep hearing
wrong
people
trailer.
say, yeah. So I keep hearing people saying every single time they release a new trailer, I hear somebody say or post somewhere, Why does this only look like it has teleport only? And it has full locomotion. So, I don't know what it is.
I take back everything I just said. I was like, these devs seem like they know what they're doing, and I looked down at the trailer and I was like, I take it all back. Take it all back. Dude, let's get caught up on tips real quick, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Red Rover, the effing Gamecat with the $20 tip, says, got my PlayStation 5 ordered. Yes! Walmart and Newegg have stock. Can you guys point out a few titles to try where I'll see a difference? Can't wait to dig in. Super stoked.
Hell yeah, Red Rover.
You can tell them right now. I know a game that you've been playing.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a couple. I mean, there's Dreams, No Man's Sky. Swordsman has some pixel density upgrades.
Yeah, he wants.
I don't know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
is
stuff.
Squadrons is a big one. If you're a Minecraft player, you'll see some real. It feels silky smooth on PlayStation
Squadrons,
5.
yeah.
But I mean, but again, even if you're just doing flat screen stuff, AJ's been playing Horizon, and that thing looks beautiful on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, and then I got to give a big shout out to Saints and Sinners, of course, because I badgered them for a PS5 patch for like 6 months, and they actually did it, and it looks incredible on PS5. So it like looks absolutely perfect on PS5. So big shout out to that one as well.
Hell yeah!
It's a good list of games for sure.
Congratulations on getting your PlayStation 5. Guys, don't give up hope. They're getting easier to find. Every single time they go on sale, you're able to pick one up for like 10 seconds longer than the last time you were able to pick one up. So don't give up. If you want one, you're able to get one. You should be able to get one soon. Waleed Saeed Faridi with the Canadian $5 tip says, watching Kind of Funny PS I Love You for PSVR 2. I kept wondering, they should have invited you guys to talk about it. The IGN guest there was not convincing. I can't lie. I started to watch it, and I just knew that I was going to get upset about something. That I wasn't going to enjoy my time watching it. And if I'm not enjoying my time watching entertainment, then I should just watch something else. Did you watch it, AJ?
I did. I watched the whole thing through, and there was like some little good bits here and there, but definitely like they asked that person a lot of questions, and that person did not answer those very easily. Like so that was like, that was like something I saw there that, yeah, I mean, I'm just convinced that nobody knows more about PlayStation VR than you and I, man. Maybe some of the Gamecats. That's about it. But I think we are the knowledge base and have a lot of the answers to the deep down secrets. But overall, it was okay. It was a little hard to listen to, yeah. But
I will say
I
this.
think
Kind of Funny covers everything. They're not just a PlayStation channel anymore.
Right.
They cover everything, and I can only imagine how difficult it is to give everything the attention that you and I give to PlayStation VR 1 and 2. So the fact that, maybe that they don't have a complete knowledge base on the shit they're talking about sometimes, it's just because it's going to be impossible to be able to be that well versed in that many consoles, and on top of it VR, which is something they don't really do very much of.
Yeah, I mean, we just get into the nitty gritty on everything. I mean, PSVR 2 is announced. We do have some PSVR 2 stuff that we talk about, but we're still talking about PSVR Gen 1 as well, because it's going to be significant to us for life, and it still is important to us. And what we don't really do stuff based on, what's the most popular clickbaity thing you could do. We do things on what we like to do, and there's still some life in PSVR 1, so we like covering it still.
I've also been having a nice little conversation with Greg Miller the last couple of days, being like, "Hey man, why don't you come on our show?" And because AJ and I are super pumped about PSVR 2, and we'd love to have somebody who knows more about the internal workings of Sony that maybe could shed some light on some of his perspectives. And so if you're a Kind of Funny best friend and you're also a Gamecat, go tell Greg to come on our show, and because it sounds like he's interested. We just got to get the timing lined up. We also got Professor Lowe with the $5 tip. Says, "Long live." Maybe I should try that one again. Live long and prosper. I'm not as big of a geek as I want to be right now. This week's Sunday multiplayer, 2 p.m. Eastern, January 16th, is Star Trek Bridge Crew. Guys, if you're not already a member of our Discord, make sure you click the link in the description below. Join our Discord and get in on some of these multiplayer meetups. Professor Lilith has been kicking ass, keeping these things organized and getting them together. And Star Trek Bridge Crew is a good one.
Yes, Bridge Crew is amazing.
Okay, we're almost caught up, man. We got Belrami with the Gamecat with the €5 says, Zenith is almost here. Hype train. Choo choo.
Speaking of Zenith, wait, there's more. Sorry.
I think we just got one more, right? Is that right?
I think I see one. John Martins with the $5 donation says, "Hey guys." Hey John. "What are the chances most people will buy a $400 to $500 console and a $400 to $500 wired headset like PSVR 2 over a $300 wireless headset Quest 2?
One over the other? I mean, I think if somebody is going, I want a VR headset and I don't have a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation VR 2 or a Quest 2, and all they care about is just getting into VR, $300 is a super attractive price. I don't think that that's what's happening here, though. I don't think I don't think PlayStation needs to beat Oculus, right?
Right.
It's their whole unique ecosystem. It's a whole separate ecosystem. And so as long as it sells well, it doesn't need to beat anybody.
Yeah. That being said, though, man, I got to be honest with you. Now, I've been clear. Like, I own a Quest 2. I like the thing. I've said it before. I think Oculus has played a really, really huge role
Huge.
in getting VR out, getting more headsets on people. That being said, man, I've heard a lot of people say PlayStation VR 2 has no chance of outselling Quest 2 or whatever. They're kind of different markets, yes. But I still, is it me or do I still think PlayStation VR 2 will still outsell Quest 2 by a significant amount as well?
Yeah, it's a huge problem to try to connect the two because Quest 2's been out for a while, and by the time PlayStation VR 2 comes around, I'm assuming they'll be talking about the Quest 2 Pro or Cambria or Quest 3. And
Right.
And you know how Oculus works. Once they put out a new headset, they fucking ditch the last one, and they're like, "Good luck, fuckers! Get on our new headset, or you'll be left in the dust." And so the sales on Quest 2 are going to drop dramatically the second a new headset comes out. And so
That will be
so
interesting.
it's really tough to compare sales figures on the two. So
With a different strategy and everything. I mean, I just think, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think games are what's going to drive more people that aren't interested in VR into VR. You know, maybe from after that, they start to learn about the other things that the technology can offer, and they get interested there. But games are how you get the people's attention. And PS5 is a mainstream console device that most households are going to have in by the end of a couple years. I know there's a supply chain issue, whatever. That's not gonna last forever. And during that time, people are still buying PlayStation 5s. We just saw Red Rover in the chat, who said that it's not like nobody can get one. It's just harder to get one. So I think if PlayStation 5 ends up hitting like 100 million, PlayStation 5s, even 75 million or something, I still think you have a high chance for adoption on the VR2 headset because the technology is just what people want. It's ready. It's ready for prime time, unlike PSVR 1, which wasn't really ready for prime time, but still managed to exceed their expectations.
Yeah, I do think that again when people see what PlayStation VR 2 is capable of, and and the type of games that you'll be able to play there. I think so many people are just going to have a PlayStation 5 in their house anyway. It's you're not going to look at it and go, well, I spent $500 on this. Do I really want to spend another $400 on this? It's like, well, no, you have it and you're into that ecosystem. And so, you want to get more out of that box. You want to say, what else is my PlayStation 5 capable of? Oh my God, it's capable of this kind of quality of VR games? Fuck yeah, man, sign me up. That's not going to be for everybody. A lot of people are really limited by how much they can spend on their entertainment for the year, and I think it's going to be a little too pricey for some people to jump into right away. But it'll be a slow burn, man. It'll be a slow burn, and I think ultimately it'll pay off in the long run.
Yep. All right, man. So speaking of Zenith,
well done. Great segue.
The Zenith has also gotten an official release date. We're not getting one, but two VR games this month. Big, high-profile PSVR games. Only weeks away, Brian.
It's like seconds away. Just lots and lots of them.
Zenith has gotten a release date of also the same day as Wanderer, January 27th. Go figure. But they also gave us a price, and that price is $29.99.
Dude, so this is the complete polar opposite conversation that we just had about Wanderer, because with Wanderer, I was like, well, I haven't played it, right? And I still don't have a good feel of what that game's all about. We've played Zenith. We played the fuck out of Zenith for like 2, 3,
30
4
hours.
Days. Yeah, you played for 30 hours. I capped out around like 18 or something, because I didn't want to do the thing where I was like, okay, next time I go in, I have to start all over, which we're about to.
Right.
But we've seen it, man. We've played it, and it's amazing. And they could have charged so much more for this game that I'm just kind of blown away by the $30 price point, honestly. I think this is 100% a day one purchase. As long as they didn't somehow screw something up between the beta and release. Dude,
no chance.
It's a day one purchase. It's beautiful. It's fun. I never cared about MMOs before now, and I'm in love with this one.
Yeah, I love MMOs. Just a couple specifically that I really got into, like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy: Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn. Played a little bit of EverQuest 2, and this is a legit MMO. And it's the very first VR MMO RPG that is coming to PlayStation VR. And yeah, it's just incredible. Like I said, I spent 30 hours in this game, and I got halfway through the world map in 30 hours. Granted, let me be clear on this. I wasn't just charging through the quests and going to the end, but I'm saying within that first half of the map, I was able to find 30 hours worth of stuff to do and have fun with. So yeah, and it's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be really, really cool. Unfortunately, there is a delay with Beta 2 for PlayStation VR players. It was supposed to be happening tomorrow. So it's a little unfortunate. However, the good news is there still will be a Beta 2 before launch, at least reportedly. So hopefully that happens, and hopefully some of you guys get in and whatnot. And yeah, man, I'm super excited for this game. It's so much fun. It's really, really, really good. And can't wait.
I'm just happy my quote got in there. I had no idea, dude. I was putting together broken news report. Breaking news report. That's what happens after it breaks. It broke. I was putting together the breaking news report, downloading the trailer as I was writing my script, and I didn't even watch the full new trailer that's playing right now down here, the release date trailer, until I was putting it into the breaking news report, and I was like, "Oh man, look at that! They used a quote from us." And then and I realized I was like, "Oh, they only used a quote from like us and Upload." I was like, "That's kind of feels really good, man, to see that." Like, there's a lot of VR channels covering Zenith, and so it felt really good to see that in there.
Appreciate the love. They're wonderful people, by the way. I've talked to them a little bit, and that whole team is just full of amazing people. And if you look at what they did with the game, it's just like, wow, like. What can't these people do?
Yeah, no, the quote that I said in this is, can a beta be nominated for a game of the year? And I guarantee you that this will be a game that's in the 2022 game of the year discussions, because
definitely.
I mean, I think even if PSVR 2 comes out, hopefully Zenith will be there day one, and with the PlayStation VR 2 version, I really, really hope this is a game that we just keep playing like every day for the next like 5 years.
The team over there has told me they're really excited about PlayStation VR 2, and they even mentioned in an article from official PlayStation Magazine UK. They did a little article there or had a little comments on it, and they were just talking about how excited they were about the haptics and adaptive triggers and all the features of the headset that they could potentially use. I mean, now there's stuff like, we've learned about like the eye tracking and if they can add like facial expressions to your Zenith avatar, there's a lot of room for lots of extreme cool tech stuff.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Extreme cool tech stuff.
We've got two questions about Zenith in the chat, but then I do want to ask you a question about this price point. First, yes. Belrami the Gamecat with the €5 says, I powered through Zenith to see as much as possible. It got better and better, which means Bell saw like way more than I did, and I can't wait to see what's coming. Looper the Underground Gamecat with the €5 says, can you play Zenith with a muted mic? I don't want to disturb my family. You can. You can also play it by yourself. You can play this game however you want to. I think you're going to have the most fun when you're able to talk with your teammates and work together with them and be a valuable member of your team. The different team members have different roles to play, and you kind of want to be able to communicate with your teammates in order to make that work as best as possible.
Yeah, I played both ways. I played like kind of solo. I mean, it's not really solo because there's people running around, so you can come across others. But
you just ignore people. It's like
I did play just ignoring people, or just running by and slashing something for them, and then waving and just going about my day. But there's actually tons of great party and audio settings in this game. Yeah. I mean, there's a proximity chat, there's a party chat, there's a guild chat. So there's a lot of options for socializing and stuff, and I really recommend playing with other people. But I can understand when you're just starting out, you know, wanting to learn stuff for yourself, because there's a bit of a learning curve with this game, but it's super awesome, man.
Yeah, I tried to play by myself. Like there was one night where I just didn't feel like being social, but I wanted to go in and grind. And some girl came running up to me within 5 minutes. It was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Good." I tried to walk away, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Just grinding." She's like, "You want to grind together?" And I was like, "I didn't want to be a jerk." And I said, "Okay." And ultimately, I was glad that I did, because I made a new friend. I made a couple new friends. In that game.
I met so many cool people in there for sure. Of all types of people.
Yeah, and most of them are on Quest, because I've really ran into it. Works. It just works, man. Like that's the crazy thing. We've run into so many games with so many multiplayer problems, or so many just regular problems, but everything about this game just works the way that you'd expect it to, or that you'd hope it would, or even better than you'd think it would. And the fact that everybody's running around like in the field, and people are playing on PC VR, on Quest, on PlayStation VR.
Yeah, most people
just
play with
works together.
PC.
Yeah, it all just works together. Like you just run around, you hear people's conversations, and it's just all working, no problem. Crossplay is kicking ass on that game. Donatello, the scientist Gamecat with the $5 says, "Can you please remind me what the PSVR without Parole guild name will be in Zenith? Can we have guilds, or did I dream that?"
Yes, we already have a guild name. It is decided, and it is the Gamecat Dojo.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Hold on a second.
Yes.
Oh, man, I wish I had that all queued up and ready to go. There it is. I mean, better late than never, right?
I love it, man.
So, okay, let me ask you a real quick question. I know we're kind of over our time here for this, but I mean, this is the thing I want to talk about most. And actually, let's talk about this and skip our next topic. We can get back to that.
Yeah, okay.
On Friday's show. $30 is relatively cheap for this crazy ass big game that's doing all of this insanity, right? It's like I said, it's doing the multiplayer stuff. It's got it's just got all these quests in the big fucking world all mapped out, and you've got to support the servers, and you've got to do everything to keep this game running. There's a lot of maintenance that is required when you make a multiplayer game like this, a big MMO. So my question is, do you think they're undercharging for this? And if you don't, where do you think they're going to keep the money coming in from?
Well, I think this is a great price. I think it's a very competitive price, enticing, and I think it's smart because people also have to. So it is PlayStation Plus required. You have to have PlayStation Plus to play it, and at least online with other people, as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge. So I think it's a really, really smart price, and. Yeah, you know, I'm okay with this. You know, like I said, that I'm more okay with this than I am the Wanderer price. Let's put it that way. You know, I think VR games are kind of in their own bubble when it comes to pricing, and $40, $50 and stuff is usually what I think of for like a AAA game. Now, this is this is basically almost like a AAA game to me. I mean, it has a lot of traits of a AAA game. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's an excellent value is what it is. An amazing value. They could have charged $40 for it. Yeah, I would have still recommended it. 2 thumbs up all the way. But I think $30 just convinces you even more why you need it.
So to answer the question, you don't. There's got to be another revenue source at some point, and because especially since VR is such a smaller niche audience, so you're certainly not going to have tens of millions of people buying your game, and so they'll have potentially 1 million pretty quickly, but then they need to keep the money coming in order to expand on the game and do maintenance.
Yeah.
So do you think they'll be charging for expansions? Do you think they'll add cosmetics? Where do you think this money is going to come from?
If I were them, yeah, I'd maybe there's a fair amount of unlocks in there for cosmetics, but hell, why not? I don't know. The traditional way, which is long gone, is expansion sets where you get access to a brand new area with new quests, new enemies, new weapons and stuff, and you pay like $20 or something for that expansion pass. I would absolutely not hesitate to do that for this game if they did an expansion pass. So, special access to like special dungeon raids and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd be all for it. Or they could do some cosmetic stuff. We've seen games even like Rec Room that are free be turn into multi-billion-dollar worth companies just because of I don't know. I mean, that was a free-to-play game though. So usually microtransactions are a free-to-play model, not something that is with a paid game. So I don't know. This game was kickstarted, crushed their Kickstarter, but like you said, they're going to need that revenue coming that to increase. And I think they just continue to add content and more people will get it. And I think it'll even get another boost of life when PSVR 2 comes out.
Yeah. Let's hope so, man. This is one of the few games that I've ever played where I was making my character and I was like, ooh, I like the character creation. I thought I made a pretty good looking dude. And then I was like, man, I feel like if there were bonus things, totally optional cosmetics that I could buy for my character, this is one of the very, very few games that I would pay for those in. And so as long as they keep the character creation, pretty robust for free, and then add bonus character creation stuff for paid, I'd be all right with that. And this is probably the only time I've ever said that I'd be okay with microtransactions ever.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, I think with the game, I don't think there's any arguing that the game doesn't have enough content, enough level variety, or you know what I mean. There's an incredible amount of content in this game for $30. So yeah, I think they should just whatever they feel works for them, just go with it. I think they'll make the right decisions.
I think so too. They're absolutely killing it, and can't wait to see how this all goes down because. Very impressed with what I've seen so far.
Yep.
We've got Triangulator with the $5 tip. Says, with more AAA and hybrid titles potentially coming to PlayStation VR 2, how do you feel about $60 or $70 price points? What do you think?
It's a tricky one. So $60 is what the average, usually the average third-party AAA game costs. $70 is what they charge sometimes for first-party games. It really, to me, it depends on the game. I'll pay whatever for a game if it compensates it with content, with replay value, hours, the length of the game. Like I will not hesitate to pay $60 for a game that I can get 30 hours or more out of. I hesitate to pay. I'm more hesitant to pay $60 for a game that's like 8 hours long. You know what I mean? I like quantity when it comes. I mean, I like quality too.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of replay value, a lot of quantity.
Yeah, it's hard to set just like to this predetermined set of criteria and say, well, if it's going to be $70, it has to be boom, 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 right? Because every game is different. You can't just say, well, it has to be 20 hours because whatever, right? Because every game is different. That being said, I mean, if VR, for a while we were paying a VR tax, and I think we might still be paying a VR tax, right? Because when a developer makes a game for a VR headset, they know that their sales are limited inherently, and so but charging an extra $5 or an extra $10 isn't a huge shock.
That's a conversation for another day, really. I need to really think about that and have a full conversation about it. But
yeah, I agree. But just to kind of like cap this off, I would hope that if we start seeing prices that are $60 or $70 for PSVR 2 games, that they match the quality and content of flat screen PlayStation 5 games. That's all I'm asking.
Right.
Like I just don't want to start paying more just because. And that's all. And if that's the case, then I'll be happy to pay more because we've been wanting bigger games for so long. We've been wanting AAA games for so long. That we finally get them. Of course, we're gonna have to pay for them. It makes sense.
Right. You're not gonna get it for free.
Bill Remy, the Gamecat with the €5, says they should do it. They should look at Deep Rock Galactic. They did it perfectly. Is that the new PlayStation Plus game that everybody's talking about?
Yeah, it is, and a lot of people are really liking it. It looks fun. It looks really cool. I haven't played it yet, though. I've been too busy with other things. But
yeah, I haven't either. Unfortunately, I probably won't get around to that.
So, Brian, this brings us to our main topic of the evening, and that is a bunch of reports that have been pointing to. So we've heard for a while that there was a. I think was it at CES that they actually officially announced a Twisted Metal TV show. You know, we know PlayStation Studios been trying to integrate things. You got the Uncharted games coming. There's maybe some other ones that I can't off the top of my head. Well, there's now a Twisted Metal show. Is it a show or movie? I don't know. But yeah, it's a television show. It's being billed as an action comedy as well. Well, there were some rumors a while back about that PlayStation Studios was going to have a game to coincide with this show as well, and this game is not. This game is not officially confirmed. It's kind of referred to as the worst kept secret there is. But there's an interesting article that popped up that caught our attention.
Oh no! Sorry. That was my
bad. They couldn't hear me. That's okay. But anyways, Brian. I mean, people seem to be really. They must be playing some metal music. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I added a new scene in OBS.
Shut up and bleed, you mother.
Forgot that there's a separate volume meter for it. So yeah,
lots of horns in the chat. Yeah, metal baby.
Yeah, sorry, it was just blasting. Sorry, until just now it was blasting. I'm so sorry, guys.
That's too funny.
So sorry. Like Rod Pop's texting me. He's like, dude. Sorry. Okay.
Metal has good music.
So as you said, yeah, where's everyone's still yelling. All right. So yeah, so there was an article on pushsquare.com that I think we're going to be referencing for this news story. Twisted Metal is the worst kept secret over on PlayStation. We didn't get a Twisted Metal on PlayStation 4, right? So this is going to be kind of the first time we've seen this in a little while. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was yelling at my dog. He's sleeping and he's going. Ask me that again. What did you say?
This part of the show is just what we're going to call the shit show.
This is a train wreck, man.
Sci-fi Gamecat Henry. When you put the timestamps into this episode, make sure you just call all of this total disaster.
What did you ask me? Say it again.
This is the first time we've seen Twisted Metal in a while, right? I think the last one we saw was on PlayStation 3, which was a pretty
Twisted Metal
one.
Yeah, Twisted Metal 2012, which I was a day one buyer and player. I love the Twisted Metal series. Twisted Metal is basically my childhood. It was my favorite IP growing up. And, 2012 did not end so well. They kind of started trying to make it like a games as a service. And, everybody knows that most people like Twisted Metal because of the story campaign and watching the tournament play out, and then the character you choose has a story and usually a twist at the end, and that was alongside the gameplay the best part about it. So the multiplayer one was kind of a disaster, and was the last time we heard about Twisted Metal.
Well, this makes things a little bit different, I think. First and foremost, it's really great to see that Twisted Metal is coming back because, as we just talked about at the beginning of the show, vehicular combat, the whole genre, as far as I know, just hasn't been terribly active for a long time. And if it has been, and there's been amazing titles that people have been playing, then it's just totally gotten past me, mostly because I only play VR games. And so we haven't seen, I think Starblood Arena was probably the closest we got on PlayStation VR to a good vehicular combat game. And now, hopefully, RC Airplane Challenge becomes that game. So now we're looking at this. It seems like this is, as you said, the worst kept secret over at Sony. But it does seem like there's no question about it that Twisted Metal. What are you doing? Twisted Metal is going to be a thing. AJ, help me out with the rumor and where all this is coming from.
Okay, so this comes from Push Square, a guy over there named Sammy Barker, also Stephen Tailby. I've known of Sammy Barker for a long time and kind of stalked him a little bit. And if he's watching this, hello, Sammy. I've been watching you. Yeah, so this comes from Push Square, and this is the original story, okay? Sony is making a Twisted Metal reboot for the PlayStation 5 to coincide with its impending 2023 television show, although its developer has changed. Video Games Chronicle reported the news earlier today, but we can corroborate the information. We were informed late last year that Liverpool-based studio Lucid Games had been ejected from a Sony-published project, which was handed to a recently acquired first-party team. Almost certainly Firesprite, the developer of Horizon Call of the Mountain. To add to the drama, Lucid Games and Firesprite are both headquartered in the same UK city, Liverpool. According to our sources, this change was sudden and unexpected. Development of a new Twisted Metal has been an open secret from some time now, and while Sony has yet to publicly acknowledge the existence of the game, it's still very much on the agenda internally. Firesprite has been hiring for a multiplayer game and is currently Sony's largest team in the UK. There's one more paragraph here. Let me just finish it. It's unclear exactly why Lucid Games was removed from the project, but one source told Video Games Chronicle that it could be due to lukewarm critical reception Destruction All-Stars received. Our understanding is that work continues on the former PS Plus freebie with a major update due later this month, although whether that will revive the car combat titles, fortunes remain to be seen.
So what do you think of all this, man? Like, does this say there's no question about it, this game is absolutely happening, and we will see it on PlayStation 5?
So this is the really interesting thing here, because we know Firesprite as primarily a VR development team, but they have done some non-VR stuff as well. They did make a non-VR version of the Persistence, the inferior version, I might add. But, you know, it's really, really interesting. I mean, it makes sense in several different ways because, you know, I played Destruction All-Stars and I wanted to love it. I thought it was fun for a little bit, but it really wore off like really fast. And I definitely was like, I would love to see this engine used for like a Twisted Metal game. I always loved the darker, grittier style that it had. But man, if Firesprite is working on it, I mean, to me, there's a high possibility that they could be making a VR mode for it.
Yeah. Oh, dude. No, absolutely. So, you know, I think every single PlayStation 5 game that comes along these days, we have to start asking the question, could this also be in VR? And I think any game that makes sense is certainly going to... I don't even want to say it has the possibility of being in VR. I think any game that makes sense, especially when it's a game that's coming from a first-party studio, I think we're going to see a VR version of it. And when a game like this gets talked about, that, you know, the last thing you want to do is have another PS3 debacle where like there's online issues. You're going to get so many more people being able to play crossplay, flat screen, and on PlayStation VR 2. That it'll be one of the few games that you never have to worry about, like jumping into VR and saying, let's go play some Twisted Metal. There's always going to be people playing because on PlayStation 5, there's going to be so many more people playing on the flat screen. So being able to play against those people and not having to, like, you know, go get like 8 people together, it's going to be pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting. I personally, I mean, if there was one PlayStation Classic that I would want in VR, it like Twisted Metal was basically the top of that list.
Yeah.
This is the thing though, is like if it's supposed to coincide with the TV show, then I feel like maybe it will have something to do with that TV show.
Okay.
And I actually kind of like that because I feel like there's a more of a chance it could be like heavily story driven. Maybe it's a single player experience, which is really what I loved about Twisted Metal. I did like co-op, of course. I did like multiplayer, and I do think that if there's an option to put those, but I don't think that's the leading thing. I think the story is really what I love the most about the Twisted Metal series. And yeah, man, I mean having a destruction derby style vehicular combat game, there's so many ways I could see this work and be so much fun in VR. I mean, Twisted Metal 1 had a first-person view, but it wasn't very good. Like it was more just like a skin over the front of it, and it looked cool, but it wasn't like functional.
Right.
But I've played games with a first-person view, like Interstate 76, which is the prequel to Twisted Metal's kind of rival at the time, Vigilante 8. And that had a first-person view and was like amazing. And there is absolutely a way to make a first-person Twisted Metal, and make it really cool in VR. Or to be honest with you, it could probably work in third person as well. It wouldn't be. We've had this discussion before. It wouldn't be my preference, but I could see being immersed in the Twisted Metal universe, really, really fun. And then you don't have to worry about the car flipping over and making people sick and all that. But I love that crazy shit. I love I would love going off ramps and having the sense controllers, one hand on the steering wheel, being able to like shoot out the windows with a gun with your other hand. There's so many different ways I could see this being like pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest chance is a story driven campaign.
Yeah, it's funny. This is one of the few games I feel like I've been saying nonstop when I talk about VR games. That the thing I want to do, and I always reference Grand Theft Auto when I say these things, is I want to drive with one hand and shoot out the window with the other. Right? Like that's what VR allows me to do. Like look over here, drive straight, but also shoot this way. Strangely enough, that's not even the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Twisted Metal, because I'm not thinking about characters. Although there's one right in the trailer below holding actual guns. I'm thinking about the cannons or whatever, right, or the napalm that's attached to the cars, right? And so I'm thinking I want I sort of promised myself that when Gran Turismo 7 finally gets announced with VR support, that I was going to buy one of those rigs that sits right in the middle of right in front of my TV, where I can attach an actual wheel and get the pedals and the shifter and everything, right? And so I can sit there with the VR headset on and really feel like I'm there. And that's what I want to do with a Twisted Metal game. Like I don't even want the sense controllers for this. I want this. I want to look behind me and see out the back of my window who's on my tail. I want to pull the e-brake and just do a quick turn and spin and then like shoot them in the face with a rocket just by like pulling a trigger or something on the HOTAS. And so not the HOTAS, the wheel. So yeah, I just feel like this is one of those things that you don't even know the thing that you want to do in this game until it's handed to you. But just being able to have that freedom to look around just by looking out my right window or left window or behind me or possibly even the rearview mirror and seeing where all my opponents are. Yeah, maybe there's a radar or something in the car, but that freedom to look around in VR is just going to be a game changer and like lets you play Twisted Metal in an actual new different way. And that's what excites me about this.
Well, that's been the whole, and so that's been a big thing. And I see some of the people in the chat are kind of like 50-50 on this. Like vehicular combat is a tough genre to get people excited about, to become, it's easy to make a good, fun vehicular combat game, but making something that will be like really successful, that will sell well, that will get a lot of buzz around it, that's going to be the tricky part. And I think what works with Twisted Metal over the Destruction All-Stars is that I think the gameplay is a little bit better in Twisted Metal games. Mm-hmm. And I think Destruction All-Stars had a lot of impressive stuff, but just having some impressive features doesn't make a great game. And Twisted Metal was like a great game first and foremost. And yeah, it's going to be tricky to do that, but I could see VR being one of those things to bring something new to the table to make it fun and exciting. But man, yeah, I know that there are several ways to do this right, but there is just there's a lot of ways to mess this up as well. And so it'll be really, really interesting. What I do know is that Firesprite is awesome, and if it is them, and by the way, I think they think that it's Firesprite because the timing of hearing about a recently acquired studio was probably around the time where Sony acquired Firesprite, because they've also since then announced Blue Point Games. Because my first thought was Blue Point. I was like, yeah, Blue Point's maybe remaking Twisted Metal 2 or something, and as well as a couple other teams. So, but if it is Firesprite, yeah, I'm really curious if it's going to be VR or not.
Right. In this article, did we skip over the update in this article, in the Push Square article?
No, because that just broke today, literally. Right. You want to read it?
Yeah. They say, as spotted by Reset Era, veteran Motorstorm director Matt Southern has left his job at Lucid Games to join Firesprite. It might be safe to assume that Southern was involved with Sony's new next-gen Twisted Metal reboot, which has changed developer from Lucid Games to Firesprite. Of course, it won't change the commute too much for Southern. Both studios are based in Liverpool. So this guy who was well known for developing Motorstorm, right?
Yeah.
Literally just left Lucid Games
and Destruction All Stars.
Yeah. And Destruction All Stars left Lucid Games to join Firesprite, and they just heard that Twisted Metal is changing hands from Lucid to Firesprite. So this guy who's knows car combat to an extent, because Motorstorm was kind of ish, like that's it. Just sort of lends more credibility to the rumor, I think.
Right. I mean, when they talk about this being like the worst kept secret,
here's more of the secret.
All of this evidence is really starting to add up and seem believable. And yeah, man, I can't say I know what, like, I wish I knew how this was going to play out, but the prospect of my favorite, childhood / teenager game, making a return to VR, it's like something I honestly, my immediate feelings are like, unless they do something really, really crazy with this that gets everyone's attention, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to sell really well, but it's certainly going to make me a very happy gamer.
Yeah, I mean, the number of hours I pumped into Starblood Arena, it's like just knowing, and those were some just quick matches. But what made that special was playing it with friends. Yes, I hope that they put a great campaign into this. I hope they make a great single player campaign, because at heart I'm a single player gamer, but the longevity comes from the multiplayer. And I certainly could see myself, especially with voice chat, just getting in there, just like we were doing with RC Airplane Challenge. Again, making a comparison to Vehicular Combat. It's get in there and you're just having fun, blowing each other up, driving around, doing crazy shit, laughing about the cool explosions. That's where the fun comes. That's where multiplayer fun is at its best. And I think this is the perfect sort of vehicle, pun intended, to bring that to PlayStation VR 2 by bringing back one of the many dormant franchises that Sony has. It's this and Resistance and Infamous,
Jet Moto, Jumping Flash,
Cool Borders,
Soul Reaver.
Just fucking say it.
Metal Gear Solid.
We're getting out of Sony territory, but sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Satan's neighbor's in the chat. Hello, Satan's neighbor. Let us know how Satan's doing.
Yeah, please check in on him. Haven't heard from him in a couple days.
He said, I never had any interest in any type of driving / racing game until I played them in VR. I got to say, that caught my attention because, like, I used to love racing games, and for the longest time, I fell out of them. I mean, like a decade, I stopped caring about racing games, almost. There was a couple good ones that were, like, here and there, like Blur and Forza Horizon 3. That I really liked, but I totally agreed. I maybe Gran Turismo 5 or something. But I definitely fell out of racing as well, and I think VR can help reinvigorate the racing genre a little bit. It's just one of those things that's just like, it's like horror games where it's like just a perfect match for VR.
Yeah, I agree. And the cats have a couple comments as well. Red Rover, the effing Gamecat with the $2 tip, says, AJ, Rick rolled.
I I got metal rolled, which is even better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got it. MRI with $5 tip says, just do Twisted Metal Black in VR, and I'm sold. Dude speaks the truth. Twisted Metal Black is by far my favorite Twisted Metal game. It's the one I spent the most time with. It's the one I liked the most. The controls just felt so spot on, and the tone was perfect. Dude, I'm just thinking about all the destruction. I mean, we didn't even talk about how cool the destruction would be in VR. Environmental things like remember the Ferris wheel that you could blow up and then it just started rolling down the street, rolling over cars and shit. That's gonna be.
I was
so
thinking
cool
about that.
You're driving down the street and see a Ferris wheel come rolling at you. You'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah, was that Black or was that 2012?
Black. They might have both had it, but Black had it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I actually thought 2012. The gameplay is actually really good in that game. I went and captured footage because I did a video. My very first top list was on Without Parole, and it was 5 PlayStation classics that need to be revived in VR. And I had so much fun making that video because I had to go back and like play a bunch of PlayStation 1 games or like PlayStation 1 through 3 games. And yeah, man, it's funny that you mentioned that because it crossed my mind that like, what if you're in the car and you just see like the destructibility of the car starts chipping away or the vehicular damage that your vehicle takes or seeing that happen right in front of your face or the destructible buildings and stuff, if they're capable of this kind of thing in the future, man, there's a lot of potential here for something really, really cool. Yeah.
Yep.
I would be very happy. Like I said, I posted a picture on Twitter of Twisted Metal 1 with the first person view. And it was just that first arena level. It's like that little, I don't know if it was a circus or no, it was like a destruction derby level, like something like that. And it just had like ramps and stuff. There's a lot of people that get motion sickness, but I don't. And this is the kind of shit that I would love. I like the stuff that goes crazy with ramps and all the sorts of crazy stuff, like the car rolling. Like I would probably like that.
Yeah.
But I could understand that having to be taken out though.
God, I hope not. I really, really hope not. I hope all the options are in there, man. So like, if the car rolls, you just be like, I'd be holding on to that steering wheel so tight and just being like, doom, 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 until my car was right side up again. Oh, and then the haptics in the headset, doom, 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 doom. It's like, I want to feel every single roll, man. I want to feel every single roll. AJ, this is super duper exciting. But even more exciting is that it's time for PlayStation VR 20 questions. Are you ready for a good old-fashioned guessing game?
I am, Brian.
That's awesome, because I'm the host today, and that means you and all the cats out there have 20 yes or no questions to guess which PlayStation VR game I'm thinking of. I got to be honest, my brain was so fried during the last episode of GamesCast Live that I had to chop out the whole third-person conversation from the show because I was like gone, man. I was so gone. I don't know what happened. I was like in some other galaxy. I don't even know what conversation was happening. I was like, I finished the show and was like, what the hell did we just talk about? And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped me win 20 questions on Monday, because that's the state of mind I was in. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. You guys saved me. So hopefully you can save AJ as well.
Let's do this, cats.
All right, man. I'm putting 6 minutes up. Put the clock up on the counter and go.
Does it have move support?
Yes.
Does it support any other controller?
No. That if I said yes, it wouldn't help you.
Okay, it's moves only. Why is it like the 3D rudder? That might help me, Brian. That might help me.
If it has 3D rudder support, I don't know.
Is it a shooter?
Sure.
All right. So is it a, let's see. Does it have puzzles?
Sure.
Okay, so it's moves, shooter, puzzles. Is it sci-fi?
Sure. That's fine.
Sci-fi shooter that uses only the moves and has puzzles. We're on the right track here. We still got a long way to go, though. Has it come out within the last 2.5 years?
No.
Okay. Did it come out within the first year?
I don't believe. No.
Okay. So somewhere in the middle of the console life cycle, platform life cycle. It's a shooter. It has moves only. It has puzzles, and it's sci-fi. Has this developer made other games?
No.
Developer has not made other games. Okay, and we're on 8 questions. Does it have Immortal Legacy? I don't know if that's... I wouldn't say that's sci-fi. That is definitely not sci-fi. It's more horror. And if he thinks that's sci-fi, he's wrong. But I don't think he's wrong. No, it can't be the Persistence because that has moves only. Ooh, I like this one. Is it based off a popular IP?
No.
No. Okay. I like what you were going for there with Killing Floor Incursion Looper. It's a good try. Do you use a bow and arrow in this game?
Sure. That's 10.
What the heck? So it's a shooter with puzzles, sci-fi, moves only. There's bow. You can use a bow. What has all these things? Is there full locomotion?
Sure.
Can you just say yes? Can you stop saying sure?
Yes.
Is this a compilation game kind of thing?
Sure. Yeah.
Is this a creation tool game?
Yes.
Is there multiplayer?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't want to fall for saying dreams. Is it made by Against Gravity?
It is.
Is it Rec Room?
It is Rec Room.
Yes. Good job, Cats.
That was tough.
Guys helped me a lot
I
there.
didn't know if having to say yes to so many questions was totally going to throw you or put you
So
immediately in the right direction.
you were actually helping me out by saying sure.
Right.
Yeah,
I was like,
no,
yeah,
that's
sure,
fine.
of course.
That's cool. That's
Right.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, most recently, the biggest update that I was impressed by was this Rec Rally that's being shown now. I had so much fun with this. I love that they added this to Dreams. Really, really good time. Did I say Dreams? You know what I meant.
Rec Room.
Rec Room. I told you
Rec
guys.
Room
By
is
the end of the show, my
incredible,
brain is
man.
just fucking shutting down. But yeah, Rec Room is amazing, and I really, really. The reason I picked this game is actually because it looks pretty simple, and I know it has to like run on mobile and all this other stuff. But man, if they're able to get this up and running on PlayStation VR 2 and expand the creation tools and like potentially, I'd assume that there'd have to be some like PSVR 2 only rooms or whatever. But I think this could be absolutely incredible. This is sort of like the PlayStation Home before we actually get a PlayStation Home. Pretty good stuff.
Amazing game. I spent my New Year's with Gamecats and in Rec Room, and it was so much fun, man. Great social game.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today during another episode of PSVR Gamescast Live. Appreciate every single person that helps keep this channel run, all the way from J Meow to Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry and all the moderators out there. We love you so very much, but no one helps the channel run nearly as much as my buddy here, AJ from PSVR Underground. Make sure you subscribe to him because he's always picking up the slack when I am slacking off. Yeah, and guys, and the support has been absolutely incredible. We really, really appreciate it. Make sure, we want to get AJ hired as soon as possible, full time, so we can do this all the time, get paid for it, and that way, when PSVR 2 gets here, we can really deliver the content. So make sure you head on over to patreon.com/withoutparolegames. Get your name on that awesome scroll down below with the $3 or more tier, and also get access to voice chat over on our Discord.
You got to come hang out with us in voice chat sometime. It's so much fun.
Dude, voice chat's just become a virtual office to me. I jump in to start my day, and I just work, and I'm just casually talking to different people. Pacer, Dan, anybody who's around, man. Nick, we just shoot the shit, and sometimes it's just quiet for like 20 minutes at a time because we're all doing our work, and then somebody goes, "Hey, did you see the trailer for that new movie?" And I'm like, "Oh, sweet, send me the link." So it's become very much a virtual office, and we just kind of hang out there all day. It's really pretty cool. But again, patreon.com/withoutparolegames, and help us hire this guy as soon as possible, and subscribe to his channel because, hey man, he's got to pay the bills until that happens. So do it up, man.
We'll be keeping the content coming anyways, so your support just ensures it lasting longer.
That's right.
We'll be doing whatever we can to keep it going anyways, though.
Thank you to everybody who watched the show tonight. Thank you to everybody who donated, and of course, thank you to all of you out there who watched the show. Didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Let's cue the cat.
To the cat, Brian. We will see you guys Friday. To Guyson fist bump to you, who says Aceville fist bump to you. Mark Pringles Leaf, take care of yourself as well. Ben Dawson, you rock. Emily Baxter, hashtag the cartoony game, which game kitten, says cue the flaming town. That's not how this works, Emily. Gabriel Double full of life to me out. Gamecat. I don't think so much, man. Jazzy J, the Terra Mage Gamecat. What is my fortune, Jazzy J? What is there jazz in my future?
What is my favorite color?
Matter. Blue, no yellow. Nick, the Game Cat, Hal, got to pay those bills. Damn right, man. We got bills to pay and cats to feed. Twitch is a single player game. Cat says peanuts. Neon Groove, laters to you. James Moore, love you too. Cerebral Frost says Twisted Metal Wipeout.
Nice.
That's what the next Twisted Metal game will be called. Time to play with Game Cats. Fist bump, boom to you too. JC, the inimitable dual wielding ass kicking Game Cat. Meow. Shades of Grey Matter, thank you so much, man, for smash the like. Tarzan is what Shades of Grey Matter says. Some fat underground Game Cat, Devil Horns to you too, man. Stay metal, everyone, guys. Sorry for the metal blast. I mean, we're not going to apologize for blasting metal. Let's be honest here. You're welcome. In fact, we're not even going to apologize. We are going to say you're welcome. Tom, Flesh Eater Gaming, thank you as well, my friend. Otter X, the Restless Wandering Game Cat, ciao to you. Good to see you again. I haven't seen your name in a while. I remember you. I remember all of you. So, yeah, I love seeing some of you guys pop back up again. Probably getting back on that PSVR 2 hype train. Let's go. Choo-choo. Mick Coles, keep throwing them shapes. The Funk Bomb Bro, the Game Cat. Later to you, man. Stay funky. Waleed Saheed Faridi, thank you so much, man. He says, I am Waleed, the Snow Leopard.
Nice.
I mean, why don't you change your name to that? Twitch, Ash VR, the Groovy Game Cat. Meow. Confusing Game Cat. Guys, you have an amazing rest of your night, day, wherever you are. I love you, and we will see you again soon. Too much?
Never.
Too dramatic?
Never.
Overly dramatic?
Never too much.